Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. We are in episode 346 of Far Lands or Bust. Started with the woof of Wolfie. The woof of Wolfie. And there he goes again, woofing away. Let us secure the previous night's hidey hole. Get rid of some of our inventory that we don't need. And continue east-west. In a westward direction towards the Far Lands, like I said, episode 346 today. For those of you watching from the future, if you need some sort of timestamp situation, today is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2014. Woof indeed. Spring has sprung. It is upon us. And the days, they continue to wind by. But yeah, we are continuing to walk to the Far Lands. We are continuing to raise money for Child's Play charity at farlandsorbust.com. We're up to, I don't know why that sounded weird. We are up to $1,373.16. So thank you, everybody who keeps donating. It's going to get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. Child'sPlayCharity.org is where you can learn more. Indeed. Indeed. So, see you later. No. Always have a little bit of a weird pause. A weird pause on pause. Well, speaking of pause on pause, I suppose a little series that we kind of started, kind of accidentally. I joined CoStar. He does daily live streams, and they were playing. I've been watching they've been playing a game called Speedrunners, and it's a very just an addictive videos to watch them playing. And a video was actually kind enough to gift me a copy of the Vigi game, and they just so happened to be doing one of Co's live streams, and they invited me to join along one evening and got quite caught up in it and played for over 2 hours straight. Haven't done that in a while. Played a video game for that long of a time, just getting caught up in playing the Vigi games, and got a whole bunch of footage for that. So we were kind of sporadically uploading it, but now myself, Pause, and Avidia have kind of coordinated to release our videos from that at the same time. It turned out we all recorded, so I used to be uploading them in the morning, the first couple episodes, but now we're switching to, it'll probably be about 4 or 5 hours after this video goes up is when Speedrunners will happen, and it's a fun, like I said, addictive game. It makes for really good YouTube video. Very simple mechanics and simple gameplay, but it's the type of game that you know, as we're playing, things get tense, and you know, at the end of each round, there's always like a oh, you know, sort of moment. So I think that's what kind of makes the game really quite attractive for video, and also just for flat out playing. So fun times. Like I said, that's with Avidia and Pause Unpause. Why did it? Because I said pause. So yeah. So yeah, very cool stuff. Like I said, today's Wednesday, the 23rd of April. I woke up and had my breakfast and had my coffee. I tend to come into the computer and go through all my blog stuff and any videos I may have missed and news and whatnot, and I happened to be greeted by a nice live short EVA. There's a spacewalk on the International Space Station. 2 American astronauts went out for a quick spacewalk. Only lasted an hour 36 minutes. Normally spacewalks, you know, when they schedule a spacewalk, since it's kind of a dangerous thing, they tend to want to get a lot of work done at once. So they tend to be, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 hour events where they get a lot of work done. This one, however, was kind of, I suppose it was a last minute thing. A computer went down, a backup computer. Basically, it is the MDM computer, for those of you keeping technical notes on spacewalks. The MDM computer was a secondary. The primary computer was fine, but basically it's a relay for information and data and temperature control for a lot of the systems on the space station. They had to replace this, so they went out, replaced the MDM computer, and it was just cool to watch in the background. They have, you know, the helmet cams. talking to mission control back and forth. It seemed to be kind of a casual spacewalk. They were kind of making jokes and talking and, you know, getting pictures of each other. So I suppose, is this the... That might be a spawner. It was kind of a cool thing to watch, and I tweeted, that's a spawner. I know my spawners when I see them. Have a seat, Wolfie. Oh, that's... Ooh, Wolfie! That's kind of close to the edge. Let's, I'm kind of afraid the stuff is going to collapse underneath you. Yeah, let's do that, just to make sure you don't plummet while I'm excavating this spawner. Zambles. So yeah, the spacewalk was cool to watch. Like I said, I tweeted that out, and it's very cool to show you guys the spacewalk. Oh, this one's kind of down in the depths. All right, where is this? You know what? I should just do it like this. Does this work in this version of the game? It does. It certainly does. Although... Oh, where is Wolfie at? Okay, he's over there. No chests? Okay, he's fine. Really, guys? Oh. Oh, there's water. Okay, well, there's no chest there. Huh. This is, what a ripoff! Come all this way, dig all the way down here, and not a single chest. Okay, it's faster with the shovel. Hey, guy. How are you? Oh, God! Ooh. Ow! Wolfie, don't come down here. Wolfie, don't come down here. He's probably gonna come down here. Are you okay, Wolfie? Don't come down here. What do we got? Golden record! Uh-oh. This place is cursed. Let's get out of here. Let's get out. Let's leave this forsaken land. Alright, Wolfie. Yeah, let's go. Let's leave. Let's leave. This place is evil. Let's get rid of the sand. I don't need anything that I can't... Oh, like, the boat away. Just run. Run. For those of you who don't know, golden records are cursed. In the second Flobathon, we found a spawner. Found a spawner. Obtained the golden record. Good warned us. Good knows that they're evil, evil little things. We found a golden record, took it with us, and then promptly that is when whatever glitch happened where Wolfie disappeared. So now, it happened in the last Flobathon as well. This one past March, we found a place with a golden record, and I decided to leave it, and just at the same time, Good joined on the call. So I blocked the place off and said it was a forsaken lands. So golden records we do not mess with. As completely unconsequential and circumstantial as that entire situation is, it's a nice little plot that we like to keep along here with Far Lands or Busts. Dramatic, thematic. What's the word I'm looking for? Plot points, thematic. Theatrics, that's the word I'm looking for. Kind of adds a little bit of theatrics to the Far Lands or Busts journey. So avoid at all costs any spawners, and do not take anything from spawners that contain golden music discs. As rare as they are in this version of the game. Could you even... I'm assuming there's a music disc. You can make a jukebox, but the only thing that was in episode 300 that was kind of a fun thing is we found this golden apple. Golden apple on episode 300 in a chest. The rarest of rare items to be found in this Minecraft beta 1.7.3. But yeah, spacewalk. I think I wrapped up what I talked about with the spacewalk. Cool thing to watch. Just keep an eye on like the NASA Twitter or whatever to know when spacewalks are going on, and you can watch them live on NASA TV. Cool stuff indeed. Of course, it was also cool within the pictures you could see the Dragon capsule, which is docked now. Recently launched. The Dragon capsule is connected, and they're unpacking. They even have, I think, into the capsule they delivered a new spacesuit because they returned the previous one, which had the leak. very famous leak that started to fill up the helmet of one of the astronauts, Luca I forgot his last name. His name is Luca. When he was out on EVA, his helmet started to fill up with water because of a leak in the coolant system. So that one got returned, and the one on the Dragon capsule is replacing it. So very cool stuff indeed. Cool stuff indeed as the moon rises and the sun sets in the west, the direction we are heading. Let's go to sleep. And awakeness. I freaked out for a minute that I'd lost my diamond sword in that little place, but I just switched it out. Woo! I knew that was going to happen. I'm half a heart down. Half a heart down, Wolfie. You don't care, do you? Nope. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about something else. In the last episode, I mentioned that there was some Codemasters news on the horizon, and I kind of called it. I at first was like, well, it's really soon for another Grid game to be coming out. The last one came out in September or July of last year or something like that. It's kind of soon for a new Grid game to be coming out, racing game. I kind of thought that maybe they were just rebooting it for the next-gen consoles, as many game producers are doing. That was kind of my top-of-the-line guess. Otherwise, my other guess, and the one that proved me right, is that, maybe they are feeling some pressure from the popularity of true racing simulator type games, the Assetto Corsas, the Project Cars. I'm seeing a lot of information and news coming out of Project Cars, things like that, and maybe they're going to reboot kind of the Grid, their racing series, to come out with more of a racing simulator. Kind of what has happened. They announced Grid Autosport to be released June 24th. And they say, this is what they say, they borrow from their past history of the Codemasters Toka touring car series, the Toka Race Driver series. I always say and make reference to Toka Race Driver 3 as kind of the last of Codemasters' great racing simulators, even though still at that time that's the time it started to turn into more of an arcade racer, and then they dropped the Toka name entirely and changed it to Grid. But they're saying they're going back to that formula a little bit more by taking in the user feedback from Grid 2. And this is a quote. This is a quote. They say they're not talking about Grid 2 and kind of some of the negative feedback that came from it, mostly from me. I'm going to claim responsibility for this. All the Grid videos, I'm constantly complaining about how arcadey it is, about how annoying the drift things are, and the lack of proper customization or handling and just whatever, and blah, 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 blah. But they say, we're not above admitting that we made a few decisions that perhaps we shouldn't have in relation to Grid 2, and perhaps moved some of the aspects? Axe! It's because I'm carrying an axe. Some of the aspects of the game too far away from our core fan base. Read from KurtJMac. We still don't expect a true... these are my notes. That's the end of the quote. End quote. These are my notes. I'm a little bit... This is good news. This is good that they took the feedback into account. They say now, one of the biggest, from the get-go, one of the biggest gripes was that there's no in-car cockpit views. They say now there are 2 in-car views. I don't know how, okay, there's the in-the-seat view. What's another in-car view? I'm not sure what... Are you going to sit in the passenger seat and watch? I don't know. Although, maybe there's going to be, the kind of the behind-the-shoulder, the GoPro-style view maybe will be popular. I'm not sure. But now, yeah, there's now 2 in-car views. But I'm optimistic, but suspiciously optimistic. I'm still not expecting a true sim racer. Definitely not Assetto Corsa or what's the other game that's like a true sim racer? The one that you subscribe to, that one, the one. What's the one that requires a subscription? Anyway, yeah, this is like a true sim racer sort of thing. I'm still not expecting that, but probably a little bit more in line with the Forza. Forza is still a very arcade racer, but I'm assuming maybe they're trying to compete with that a little bit more, because it's called, isn't it called like Forza Autosport? So now calling this Grid Autosport is probably taking aim at that market. So maybe that, but they are saying that there's going to be now 22 locations and 100 different routes, and they're mostly track circuits. That was one of my other gripes, is that the majority of the race tracks, quote unquote, in Grid 2 were all street courses, just really unrealistic, you know, Chicago and Paris and this, that, or the other, that were just... I preferred the actual race tracks. And that's what they're saying they're going towards, and they do seem like they have, instead of the street cars and the supercars, more actual race cars. They have Formula 1 open-wheel style racing and kind of the DTM and the V8 supercar style racing, touring car and whatnot. So that I'm looking forward to that. I know in the last Grid episodes I kind of said I'm kind of turned off a lot by what Codemasters is doing, but if this is I'm probably going to wait for some reviews. I'm going to buy it. Obviously, there's going to be a multiplayer. I'm going to want to play with Vidya and Co and Beef if he wants to pick it up as well. So, you know, my decisions are not made purely in a consumer fashion. They're made in a YouTuber fashion. So I'm gonna have to buy it, and I'll check it out, and I'll give you guys my impressions, I suppose, so that you can make a decision to buy it or not. But I'm thinking June 24th is still quite soon since the last Grid, so I'm assuming it's pretty much recycling the assets and the graphics and the base engine of Grid 2, and it's not coming out on next-gen consoles. So they're not even bothering with that yet. They say they want to wait for building a new engine for the next gen. So I'll give them props for that, as opposed to doing the Tomb Raider thing and simply releasing the PC graphics for the next gen consoles. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good unbeatable. So that's good. But yeah, I feel like it's, and they've done this before. They've done this with Dirt. And then they basically just used the same tracks and whatnot to make Dirt Showdown, you know, the same assets. They just kind of dumbed it down a little bit and made Dirt Showdown. So, you know, kind of, yeah, that's fine to do that, I suppose. But also, they're going to be charging full price for the full price of a brand new game, but reusing pretty much the same stuff that exists in Grid 2. But hopefully it's in more of that, what I like in terms of race car driving. I wonder if the physics or the way the handling of the car will change at all. But interesting news. Kind of a weird topic to be talking about in Far Lands or Bust, I know, but it relates to my channel and my other racing games that you see on my channel. I'm hoping some of you are here for more than just Far Lands or Bust, so you'll look forward to that, I guess. I do, however, have some Minecraft news. Minecraft news. There was an update to the Mojang Team YouTube channel. They uploaded a video showing off what they're adding to the new 1.8 update. Currently, the Minecraft server is on the snapshots, but this isn't included yet. They're adding further customization to the world generation. And I actually got a question in the donor questions from Wraith Dagger 12. They asked, you've noted in the past that you enjoy the old Minecraft Beta 1.7.3 era. Yeah, the old terrain generation with versions of the game before that would one could choose a world seed, thus giving each person their own unique world. Actually, I liked it even before they added the option to plug in your a world seed to have the same, to share the same world. I liked it where it just automatically gave you a random seed, and then that way that world was your world, and unless you had some sort of third-party way to look at the world seed, there was no way anybody else could have that world seed. So yeah, I did like that. And this person goes on to ask, therefore, how do you feel about 1.8's new terrain generator tools allowing users to customize the terrain generator? And yeah, that's basically what it seems to do. It's going to add 16 sliders to kind of change the parameters. Obviously, when you generate a world, there are different parameters that go into the maths that say X, Y, Z. And there's already been kind of, now you can choose super flat, and you can choose the amplified terrain, and you can choose large or regular biomes. Those are parameters. Now they're even giving you finer tune control and saying the world height limit, not necessarily the world height limit, but the terrain generation limit, the scatter. It's basically like a paintbrush almost, for those of you who use Photoshop or whatever. If you have one of those paintbrushes that has the different blur effects or the different scatter and splatter effects, pretty much the same thing happens within reason here in Minecraft. Is okay, there's jitter, terrain jitter here, and then we'll smooth it out, and that's basically what happens. So you can adjust all of those effects within a certain scale. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. And I will tell you why in the morning. And awakeness, terrain generationness. Ow, I keep hurting myself, you noob. So I think it's a good thing because now you can all share the same seed. I think this is how it's going to work. You can share the same seed, but if you even slightly vary one of these 16 sliders, and there's even toggles for different, lava, this, that, on, off, lava pools, lava oceans is an option I saw that I suppose it maybe replaces water oceans with lava oceans, toggles. You could have the same seed, but if you change these toggles or these sliders, you'll get a completely different world regardless. So now I feel like it goes back to even more of the this is my world type of terrain generation, which I very much prefer and I very much like. I mentioned how, yeah, the amplified terrain option is cool. It gets kind of old after a while. It even though it is amazing and awesome, it becomes pretty much the same amazing and awesome stuff over and over and over again. So that gets old quick. So I do like these new options they're adding. Still, I was looking for a toggle that says generate farlands, and that is not on there. Although I suppose it might be possible to adjust those sliders enough to get crazy, extend the build height limit to height limit, 100%. So the scatter goes all the way up there, and, there might be a way to, automatically generate terrain that mimics what would have been the beta 1.7.3 farlands. So we'll have to play around with that, maybe. When that future additions get added to 1.8. I'll probably wait till 1.8 gets fully released so they can iron out all the kinks. But I think it's a good addition, and it'll really introduce some creativity and a lot more variety in the worlds. Because one of the main things I hear in Farlands or Bust is how everybody misses the old world terrain generation. You get these awesome things before you were restricted to the very strict guidelines of biomes and things, and you would get a lot more variety and kind of otherworldly designs, as opposed to now it's a little bit too, whoa, Wolfie! Careful, you pushed me off, but I'm still telling you to be careful. Careful, Wolfie! T-shirt now available at Spreadshirt. There we go. Woof. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, and then the new terrain generation, while yeah, awesome to have all these new biomes and whatnot, it is okay, you see a desert biome, you've seen all the desert biomes. Okay, you see a plains biome, you've seen all the plains biome. Okay, there's a taiga biome, you're stuck in the taiga biome because they're ridiculously huge. So hopefully these kind of terrain options will be very cool, and we'll start to see, many new worlds and options. And I don't know, maybe, and I know we on the Mindcrack server, we basically, what we've said is when we reset the server, we found a seed that gave us kind of an island that's 4,000 by 4,000 or so, and we said we wouldn't explore off this island until a new terrain generator update came up, and that's true. So now for this, when 1.7 or 1.6, no, it was 1.7 added the new biomes and different terrain generation, we said, okay, now we're going to explore west, the chunks west of this area. So I don't know, maybe, I'm not saying, this is like off the top of my head, we have not discussed this might not ever even happen, but maybe for 1.8, or perhaps further beyond, we might say, well, maybe we should try our own custom terrain generation and generate that land out east and have it something crazy or wild or something like that that would be useful for us. I don't think we've exploited the 1.7 terrain generation enough to really, like I said, require opening up a new direction, but that's why we've kind of left the different north, east, and south areas open, because we're going to clear those areas whenever there's some major terrain update we want to take advantage of, and then say, okay, now we can explore south or whatever. So yeah, I think it's good news. Good news indeed. What is going on over there? Speaking of good news, there's a cube. Somebody took a cube. A giant Enderman came and removed that cube of land. The piano, and now he's starting to play the piano. He's a Enderman pianist. So yeah, that was some cool Minecraft news. Looking forward to that. And yeah, thank you, Wraith Dagger 12, for that question and the donation. Kind of prompted that little conversation. Let's try to throw a snowball in the cube. Snowball in the cube. Oh, nice shot. Good arm. You should play center field. Ooh, careful, Wolfie. Let's see. Let's try to answer, what are we, midday here into the third day? Let's try to answer some more questions from donors to Child's Play charity, farlandsofbus.com. When you donate, using the donate button, you get a little comment field that you can include with your donation. If you want to ask me a question, I get to see those comments. If you want to ask me a question, I will try to get around to them in a future episode of Far Lands or Bust. From Nefashu asked, how would you describe your perfect sandwich? Perfect sandwich. I don't know if I have a perfect sandwich. Obviously now, gluten-free sandwich bread is the way to go. I'm extremely boring. I have pretty much sandwiches every single day for lunch. I will make one after recording this episode of Far Lands or Bust. Pretty much ham or turkey. Sometimes I will get salami or something like that, and I'll mix that in with the ham and or turkey. Tomato, lettuce, usually romaine lettuce. Cheese, I vary from provolone cheese to Swiss to Colby Jack or something like that. And mayo. What else do I put on my sandwich? That's pretty much it. I'll sometimes get crazy and put mustard with the mayo. I used to put pickles, but I don't do that much anymore because I run out of room. The gluten-free bread is kind of tiny, which is good. It, smaller quantities, I suppose. But gluten-free bread doesn't really have the structural integrity to hold a large sandwich. So that's my daily sandwich, is kind of that. I'll get crazy sometimes, and if I have bacon, I will make bacon in the morning and then save a few strips to put in my sandwich, because I'm crazy like that. Yeah, I don't know if I have like a perfect sandwich. Oh, speaking of bacon, amazing tip. The Far Lands of Bust tip of the day in food. I recently discovered this and have been obsessed with it ever since. Bake your bacon. This is the greatest advice I can hand down to future generations. The default thing is to, put your bacon in a skillet and cook it that way. But I've recently discovered that if you bake your bacon, basically, it depends on the type and thickness of bacon, but all you gotta do is put foil in a pan or a sheet to make sure the oil doesn't spill over or splash or anything like that. Oh, this isn't that big of a notion at all. Dang it. put your bacon in there. I put it in my oven for 375 for, say, 16 to 18 minutes. And that's it. You don't have to turn it. You don't have to worry about flipping it in the skillet or, keeping tabs on it. And it comes out awesome. It, like, disintegrates and melts in your mouth. And it's the perfect crispiness. And I don't know why I haven't been doing this for the previous 31 years of my life. Because I was cooking bacon when I was 2 years old. Before I could walk, I was cooking bacon. It's amazing. Bake your bacon. And it frees up your time. You can just, that's the first thing you can do. And then I'm like, okay, now I'll make my coffee. I can make my scrambled eggs or whatever else I'm making in the morning. And I don't have to sit there constantly worried about overcooking or burning my bacon or anything like that. And it's great. Bake your bacon. And yeah, and that way I can like do 4 or 5 strips at a time and then save 2 for my sandwich in the afternoon. Cooking tip of the day. Amazing stuff. Now, I think I need to go grocery shopping today, so I think I'm going to pick up some bacon. Damn you! Making me think of food. So yeah, bacon. Bacon. So yeah, sorry, I really didn't answer the question about perfect sandwich. Nefashu goes on to ask, do you have any guilty pleasures? Bacon! Be it food, television programs, musicians, etc. No. Not really. It's good not to feel guilty about things that bring you happiness. I mean, obviously there are bad things, like your overindulgence in food or alcohol or things that may make other people not happy or feel bad or something like that. You don't want to overindulge. You should feel guilty about those sort of things. Yeah, I think, a lot of people, the way they can start to feel good about floating gravel, you are gravelly. You are granular. Ah, there we go. This place seems a little bit dangerous. I'm gonna light up the under easements, but I'm going to make, hopefully this doesn't update the block, I'm gonna make my hidey hole on the opposite side of this floating gravel block. I'll have Wolfie take a seat, and I will place the torch, and when we start the next episode, we will say, good morning, floating piece of gravel. How is this day to you? Floaty? Good times. All right, looking forward to that. Oh, man. So yeah, I can't say, I've answered this question before, I feel like, but I can't say I have any, like, guilty pleasures. I like taking a turn in my car faster than I should at times and making the tires squeal. As underpowered and not performance ready that a 2-door 2004 Cavalier is, it's not, it's still fun. But I do that within reason and without endangering anybody around me. I make sure, I don't race. I'm not somebody who's, dramatically speeds. Notice how I kind of adjusted the words I was saying. I'm a safe driver. Whenever I do that, it's on an empty road and a safe street. So yeah. I enjoy a good tire squeal every now and again. I suppose that's maybe a guilty pleasure. I also don't do it when other people in the car, because that would freak them out. Also, it upsets the balance of the car, so I can't do it as well. But yeah, that's probably, I suppose, the only thing I can say where, like, afterwards I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But otherwise, no. Don't be guilty. Don't be guilty. Enjoy your life and whatnot and the things you do, as long as you do them with respect and with health and with your own happiness in mind. And that is the second lesson of the day, somewhat less important than baking your own bacon. Sounds like a euphemism, but regardless, thank you very much for watching this episode 346 of Far Lands or Bust, and continuing to support Child's Play charity, and continuing to support myself and Far Lands or Bust and my channel, and subscribing and liking and checking out my other videos that will be shown here in the end slate momentarily. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.